A secret exists among certain football players. However, since Neymar nearly caused his entire family to go homeless, let's begin with his story. And it all began in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where he and his family lived in extreme poverty as children and were on the verge of losing everything if they made a single mistake. It was entirely up to Neymar to save the day, despite the fact that he was only a young child with a football and a dream. He had to work on the last day to pay the electricity bill 1 month since his dad had forgotten about it. Dad was forced to entrust the money to this child. And despite his youth, Neymar undoubtedly grasped the value of having lights on. Consequently, he was willing to go pay the debt. However, Neymar noticed something strange while he was strolling down the street. He got the once-in-a-lifetime chance to win his ideal car at a raffle, and he couldn't possibly overlook that. He then entered and purchased a ticket, and he had trouble sleeping later that night. Until the following morning, all he could think about was speeding down the street in his new whip, because he heard something as soon as he opened his eyes. Could it be? Neymar jumped out his bed, ran out of his room, and there was Dad, pissed, because the electric company pulled up in their car to shut the power off. Now at least what Neymar did only got him ass-whooping. Zlatan's mistake almost got him assassinated. And it all went down in 2019 while he was playing with the Galaxy, because Zlatan was getting pretty confident. I think I'm the best ever played in MLS. And that without joking. Why? Did you? Have you been looking for the 2 years I've been playing? And coming into his 38th birthday, he wanted to treat himself. So there was one gift at the top of his wish list. But see, when he copped this Ferrari Man's SP2, the car wasn't the problem. It's what he did with it. Behind the scenes, Zlatan's had a notorious reputation for parking like a jackass, all over the lines, stealing people's spots. One day, he pulled up in his $1 million whip and parked in the middle of the street. But what he didn't know was he was being watched by a maniac. And this dude wasn't trying to ruin Zlatan's car. He was trying to end his life. Because right when dude saw Zlatan breaking the law, he drove home as fast as he could to get a weapon. And I'm not gonna lie, this dude was on another level of crazy, because he literally went on a 7-year killing spree without being caught. So luckily, when he pulled back up, Zlatan was gone. And eventually, the police found out. Because he publicly admitted he was only trying to smoke Zlatan, just to get famous. So they threw his stupid ass in jail. Now I don't know what's crazier. That, or Emmanuel Adebayor's life literally being saved by a football. Because what happened back in 1988, no doctor could ever explain. Nowadays, you wouldn't think this star striker had major health concerns. But growing up in Togo was anything but easy. Because right from birth, doctors noticed Emmanuel had a serious problem. They told his family that for some mysterious reason, Emmanuel's legs didn't work. But mom and dad didn't want to just give up on their baby. So for years, they searched for a cure throughout all of Africa. But they had no luck, and they were desperate. So they turned to their last resort, the church, where they vowed to pray for Emmanuel for 7 days. But if that didn't work, all hope was lost. So they prayed all 7 days and all 7 nights. And then, on the very last day, still nothing. Until a bunch of kids were outside kicking around a football. And as soon as Emmanuel noticed, he not only stood up, he ran after the ball and joined in the game. And from that point on, he eventually went on to become a pro football player. He became one of Africa's richest athletes ever. And to this day, no doctor, no church has a single explanation. But I don't know what's harder to believe. That or Kevin De Bruyne being a millionaire and still being scared to talk to girls. Because back in 2013, one embarrassing moment changed his life forever. See, at the time, De Bruyne was just a rising star. So he only had a few thousand Twitter followers. But in between games, he'd still throw out a tweet. And there was always a notification that made his heart skip a beat. But one day, while he was chilling with his friend, he tweeted about the night before his game. When boom, there was a notification from a baddie. So De Bruyne showed his friend the like, and his friend did what any good wingman would do. He told De Bruyne to message her. But our boy was down bad. Because he'd never had a girl on this level and thought there was no way she'd respond. And I don't blame him. Because if I look like this, I wouldn't think she'd message me either. So his friend grabbed the phone and did him a favor. And luckily he did that, because not only did she respond, De Bruyne and her started texting nonstop. And a few years of dating later, they got married and lived happily ever after. all from his friend's DM. But hey, at least De Bruyne ain't ruining the world, like Aaron Ramsey's curse, because him just playing football literally kills people. This curse, it started haunting Ramsey back in 2009, and while playing for Arsenal. Even though he'd rarely score a goal, little did he know he was about to become a killer. Literally, because as the years went on, when Ramsey stepped his game up to another level, this meant more playing time and scoring more goals. But what he was secretly doing became a worldwide controversy. At first, what began unfolding seemed like a massive coincidence, until it wasn't. Because the more goals Ramsey scored, the more people were dying. But I mean, come on. So Ramsey's can't be real, right? Well, fast forward to 2021. After scoring 64 career goals, 23 of them had a direct link to celebrities dying. Whether it's the same day, the day after, or the week of, for 15 years, Ramsey's body bags keep piling up, and the list just keeps getting crazier. So every time he scores, it becomes a trending topic, and things are getting so ridiculous. Fans literally started a petition for Ramsey to quit football. But whether you believe in the curse or not, at least his story's out there. For Ronaldo, he's not only kept a dirty little secret, he spent his entire life covering it up. And back in 2013, while he was playing for Real Madrid, things started getting a little sus. Because at the time, he started setting records and becoming one of football's greatest players ever. So he felt unstoppable. But when you turn yourself into a face of the biggest sport in the world, it comes with a price. His celebrity status reached a level that not even a Kardashian could touch. So that meant paparazzi watching his every move, and they caught Ronaldo in 4K. At the time, he was in a celebrity relationship, and I'm sure Ronaldo was attracted to her personality. But anyways, even though these two were becoming icons, they were barely spotted in public together, and we all know Ronaldo, man. Is it really worth doing that's not increasing his Instagram influence? Therefore, he made the decision later that year to do something that no other athlete, not even LeBron James, had the courage to accomplish. He was indeed seen at one of Rihanna's concerts, and because she's on his training playlist, I doubt he showed up. I initially believed that he was there most likely to get Rihanna to play with his balls. However, at that point, the rumors began to circulate widely because it was inevitable that some sweaty degenerate with a camera and microphone would bring it up after pictures of these two together went viral. Furthermore, I don't believe Rihanna was only attempting to play hard to get when he asked her about our boy for the first time, because she really did drop a bomb. And when asked if she and Ronaldo were dating, she responded with this rather than discussing their late-night booty call or being nice and discussing a dinner date. Ultimately though, Ronaldo is not the only athlete with an undiscovered secret. Simply click this link to view the video.